Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah Donald and this is Sarah Donald Podcast. So today I'm going to be answering one of the most asked questions, which is, Sarah, if I move to Nigeria, how do I cope with electricity? Because Nigeria currently we do not have 24 hours light. So how do I cope with two things, electricity and internet? If I tell you how many times I've gotten this message, which is because most people moving, those that work in multinationals, are planning to maintain their work and work remotely. And of course, when you've been out in a system that gives you 24-hour power, fast internet, coming home, the best you could ask for is these things, right? So sit back, let me break it down and tell you how we've been doing it and how we are making it happen. So I'm going to be using myself as example, obviously, because I moved to Nigeria, and for someone that's understood what it means abroad to get fast internet, to have 24 hours electricity, as long as you pay for your electricity. Now, it's quite different in Nigeria. You can get 24 hours light, but you have to work harder. Now, the government has introduced something that is called Band A. So if you're Band A, I don't know, I'm currently in Band A, and in my estate, I think, is it B or A? Yeah, you can move from B to A, or they moved it to A. So they're going around. I don't know if this has rolled out everywhere, but for the people in Band A, this is very state specific as well as area specific. My estate currently runs 24 hours light. What that means is, as long as you pay your service charge and you load your light, like everybody has their own meter. So you buy your light, you load it. As long as you load it, you get light. It doesn't matter if there is PHCN, which is the eco electricity, right? I think that's a new name, NEPA. It doesn't matter if there is NEPA light. It doesn't matter if there is generator. You just know that there is light, right? That's what the estate does. So what happens is that this is typically way more expensive than the normal NEPA light, because what is happening is that they have to run more generator when there is no light. Sometimes the national grid falls, and maybe it's fallen for like 5 days, and for that entire 5 days the estate has to run different generators. So it means that at every point the generator has to be well serviced, there has to be a backup generator. You have paid, so it doesn't matter how they provide it, they just have to provide it. So that means it's going to be more expensive. So I'd always chosen the part to stay in a gated estate, because for me electricity was very important, especially someone that my work is digital, it's pure, it's more like I stay more at home than anywhere. So my comfort at home is very important. When I was trying to get my estates, I saw different estates that promised different things. Some said 12 hours, 16 hours, 20 hours, different. So they'll give you a time depending on what you can pay for. So some of them, what they do is they tell you, okay, we can run the gen from maybe 5 a.m. because people are getting ready for work. So they'll on it from like 5 a.m., turn it off at 9. If there is no NEPA light at that 9, that means you will not be having electricity. And then they'll turn it on again, say maybe around 1 to 4, to give people time to make lunch and whatnot. Then they'll turn it off again, and then they'll turn it on again around 7 and run it till the morning, like 9 in the morning. So basically they gave me a lot of these options, but I did not want that. I wanted 24 hours light, yes. But a lot of people take this option. In fact, to be honest, those options are way more affordable than having to get 24 hours light. And in case you want to do this option, one thing you can use to substitute that will make a lot of sense is investing in solar. Now, if you want to invest in solar, make sure you get somebody to come to your house and tell you, like a solar consultant, to tell you exactly what you did. That was what I did, right? I made sure that the company sent their engineers to come and check around. I told them the things that I wanted on my solar inverter. That way they can now advise. So the more things you want, let's say you want 5 air conditioners, they will check it. Is it 2 horsepower? What's the power of your TV, fan, all those stuff, right? That's the way whatever you want on at the same time. Do you want it there, but you don't want it all at the same time? Whatever you decide is now how they will advise on the package. Now, they have different types. They have the solar that is charged, that you charge with what do you call it, solar inverter, right? The one that you charge your electricity, and the solar inverter is charged with sun, and Nigeria has very good. Our sun can be very hot, so you might as well charge the solar, right? Sometimes you might not be able to get that one depending on where you're living. If it's not your house, some estates or some landlords will tell you that it's not allowed, because you know they have to go to the roof, and some of them feel like it spoils the roof and they end up not fixing it. So if it's not your personal house, or if it's an estate, they might not allow. Some estates do not allow solar inverter. The reason they do not allow that is because people end up not buying enough electricity, because why not? The sun is already charging. So that was important for me as well. I wanted an estate that is giving me that, as well as allow solar. Before I bought, the first thing I asked was, do you guys allow installation of solar here? Because I've been in an estate where it was not allowed, where even the one you charge is not allowed. They did not want that. So, and I didn't ask that one before entering. So with this particular one, before I bought, I was like, hello, is solar allowed? Am I allowed to do this and that? They're like, yeah. So all you do is you can, if you have money, you add more panels depending on what you want on. And just like I said in my last video, you ask yourself, how much do I want to spend on electricity? That's a good thing about it, right? You can have a budget. Do I want to spend 500,000 a month? Do I want to spend 200,000? You want to spend 100,000, it's up to you, because whatever you load is what you're going to use. So like I said in my last video, I said if you're in the West, right, and it's cold, are you going to turn on your heater for 24 hours? You know what the bill is going to be. That's the same thing. If you're in Nigeria, are you going to turn on the AC for 24 hours? If you can't, then get ready to pay. Your battery will definitely die faster. And also it depends, are you running a family house? All that will depend, right? Because I know a lot of people ask me like, oh, how many do I need? Your solar consultant must come and check it out. It is really based. Some young people that just live by themselves, I know people that live like in a 1-bedroom. There is this solar company that even introduced this really small one where they use it, they buy their rechargeable fan and they are okay. That's it. So it's up to you. We didn't have these options before, or let me just say they were not that much in Nigeria. But right now, there are even some estates that are fully solar powered, right? Yeah. And what's this electricity they call again? I don't really know, but I saw them advertising some estates like that. So that's how you survive with power. And basic things like having rechargeable fan if you don't want to get solar, because at the end of the day, it's still a startup. You might want to come first and see how it is. If you're living on your own, which is a standalone house, you will need to get a generator, even if it's a flat. As long as that place is not serviced. I am in a serviced apartment. If this was not a serviced apartment, you probably would have had different people's generator at this point. But because it's a serviced apartment, generators are not allowed. So these are the things you have to ask. Are you willing to stay in a serviced apartment and pay your monthly service charge? Whether you're around or not, you must pay your monthly service charge. Or do you want self-service? Now, with the self-service, you're going to service it by yourself, meaning if you want light, you can turn on your generator. My friend was telling me that he actually prefers that one because he's not always around. So he gets to monitor the period he's around. He will just buy diesel and run his generator. He hired, instead of hiring just like regular people to secure the place, you can hire a security company. They will be in charge of it, and part of the job you give the security companies that you tell them that you want an engineer in charge of turning on the generator. So if you're a family house and you have the manpower to do all that, or well and good. If not, staying in an apartment that offers you light. Now, another option in terms of the offering light is that if you don't want to pay for the 24-hour, or maybe it's probably too high to start, you can also work around your schedule, right? Because I know someone sent me an email asking about what light is like at night because of the time difference, right? So I think she's working in Canada where our night is morning and morning, or is it Australia? Somewhere really far, right, at the time difference. And she wanted to know that when she's working, it will be night in Nigeria. And I'm like, oh, perfect, because most estates, even when they give you 10-hour, 12-hour, how many hours they give you, it usually falls into the night, because they know that that is when people are typically more interested in it. So they must run the generator all night. And if there is no NEPA, they will switch over to gen. So they usually have a standby person who goes on and off. If they bring light, the person will switch to gen. Or if you're on your own to stand alone and you can afford to have a generator and not come out at the night and switch it off, you can also have that deal where your security guard can be in charge of switching on your generator, right? So basically use your work schedule and how much you're willing to take and compromise. Because some areas, why I said it's very area specific is because I have an intern that's telling me that her area has lights. She stays in Magodo, and she was like that the area she stays in, she can do without generator, that she has good lights. like when she's waking up in the morning, she said, I sleep with lights. When I'm waking up in the morning to prepare for work, I sleep. Sometimes in the afternoon, it goes off for about 2 hours, but I have my power bank. In fact, Oraimo makes really nice power banks that last. This is not sponsored, but I use them, so why not shout out to them? Because they have nice power banks that work. If you're a content creator and you want to use their power bank to power your ring lights, they have power banks now that power ring light. They even have power banks that power your laptop, and good ones that power your phone as well. So if you invest in this and invest in your rechargeable fan, and you're okay with, maybe like 3-4 hours without having light, then go for it. But this is really the option now that people use. A lot of people are investing in solar, especially when you're coming with your family. I've gotten messages of people coming with their kids, and they're more concerned about their kids because obviously this is what their kids are used to, light, having electricity 24 hours. And I always tell them, invest in solar, buy more panels. And one thing with Nigeria, I tell you people, your backup needs a backup. So even in an estate that offers you 24 hours, I find myself very lucky to have bought this place because my estate management, they are really good. And that is one of the things I did. I was not going to make that mistake again. So when I was moving in, I asked people, and let me tell you one thing about Nigerians, if they're suffering something, they don't want it to suffer the same. It's not those people that will be like, come and see it for yourself. No, if the management is not good, they would have said it. So far, they keep to their words of everything they said they will provide. Even at that, I still needed to get a backup. And one of the reasons to that I wanted a backup was that I did not want my light to go off. So right now, I don't even know if they're on generator or they're on light, right? But if I did not have an inverter, I would know. Because every time they are switching over, the lights will go off. And sometimes maybe it might take like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, depending on how long it takes them to on the generator. Sometimes 2 minutes, I don't know, it depends, right? But I don't get to feel it because of that. So everything depends on what you're using. Remember, you're coming to a country that is quite different. So if you really say that, okay, I don't want to be in the West again, I want to be here, and this is the reason, these are the things that you need, to put into place if you want to have 24 hours, or you want to have a good amount of light, you want to enjoy electricity, right? Yes. And yes, I'd already mentioned, especially for people that work in different time zones, always check, like if you're going to, maybe you're young and you just want to start up with a flat, ask how many hours you're getting. So if you're working like in UK, where we have the same time, that means it's important to know, and you're working from home, that means it's important to know, okay, in this place, are people giving me light 9 to 4? And if they're not giving me light, what can I do at this 9 to 4? Because obviously we also have like cafes that come up now every day. There's this particular one, guys, I don't get keep. I don't care sponsorship and all. I mean, if it comes, it's fine, but I don't get keep. So when you hear me call names, they did not sponsor me. If they did, I will mention. But Sterling one, which is like, I think is owned by Sterling Bank or so, I have been there too when I just want to leave my house, and sometimes I just want to go out and edit and brainstorm and just think, like when I want to make specific kind of videos that need concentration, I just want to leave my space, right? I go there as well. They have lights. You can pay for, like, it depends, for as low as 11,000, which is about $12. You get to use their internet. For some, where you buy coffee is free, depends on the time and day. So we have those options where you can go and sit down in the cafe. I go to my coffee as well. My coffee is in VI. They have one in San Francisco, and they have one at the Wings. I go there as well when I want to just like chill with my laptop. And then because these are cafes, they have charging points, and it's really calm, so you can also work. Now let's talk about internet. Internet is also a major issue. How do I cope with internet? Currently, I am using Cyberspace. In fact, they just left, Cyberspace, I keep saying it, and people might think, Sarah, do you have shares in this company or what? I don't know who is training you guys on customer service, but I will tell you that you guys need to win award for customer service of the year. Yes, every now and then, especially like when it rains, or sometimes the Nigerian factor. Do you know that people actually steal the cables? Like, it is so sad. So sometimes when things like this happen, it can cause a setback. Once I send them a message, they try to fix it from their end. If they see something they cannot fix from their end, the next day they're calling an engineer. Like, my internet was off for a bit, but so far it has been very good. Now, I know there are so many internet options, but it's so hard for me to recommend. Why? Because it's also area specific, right? You could be in Ikeja, you could be in, let's say, Spectranet. Like I use Spectranet on the island, and it's an absolute mess. My colleagues on the mainland were like, they love Spectranet and Smile. I cannot even use it here. It doesn't work for me, right? So it depends on your area. It depends on your house. These days, with all these deckings they do. So find out your area. Now, let's say you want to go with cyberspace. Let me use the one that I know. Cyberspace is just like, what's this one that is owned by this guy? What's the name? Is it Elon Musk? What's that internet? If I remember, I'll probably write it if I remember when I'm editing. So, because most times I don't edit, I just shoot and deliver to you guys. Anyway, yeah, so that one, Starlink, that's it. That one is really nice as well. It's fast. A lot of my friends use it. They use it in the office. But for me, I'm not a streamer, I'm not a gamer, I don't need that one. It was just a bit, like it was unnecessary. I didn't need it. That's why I didn't use it. And I know that every now and then they get maxed out, so you need to like be on the list. So that one is really good as well. If you want to, if you know, like you're setting up a company or you're like a streamer where you need to be online every single minute, then that one will work. For me, cyberspace does what I want. Now, cyberspace, as of the time I fixed it, installation was about 300 and something thousand. It was the installation that took bulk of the money, right? So it cost me about 300 and something thousand. That is to bring your mask and all that. Now that's because I wasn't using cyberspace before. In my other house, if I was using it, all I'll need to pay is relocation fee, which is way cheaper, right? Yeah, so I know some companies, their relocation fees as much as 50, some even relocate for nothing, depending, right? So for me, I use cyberspace, and it cost me about 300 and something thousand to install because it's a SIM card. So you need to have your NIN and everything in between, your copy of your passport or your national ID or your driver's license. You have to send it to them because like they're getting you a SIM card, so they need all that detail. But then every month it's less than 30,000 depending on the one you choose. So they have different plans. Again, my plan is like less than 30,000 because for what it's doing for me, working, doing Zoom calls, going on YouTube, watching TV, it works perfectly for me. But again, if you have a staff and you're probably trying to set up a company, you can have a conversation with their agent and you will get what do you call it? You can have a conversation with their agent and they can tell you the one that suits depending on how many people that are using it. Now, to substitute for those days where maybe you might have issues for like 10 minutes or something like that, I have MTN broadband. I think the MTN broadband cost me 60,000 to buy it. It's you can carry it around because it also has a power bank, which is amazing. So let's say you're even going to work in a cafe and you don't want to be at home, but you want to work in a cafe, you don't want to use their internet, you can take your MTN broadband. That one cost me like 60,000. It came with like data. It's not unlimited, but it's also based on what you use. So you can load 10,000, 15, 20, 30, any amount depending on what you're using. So I use that for backup, and I haven't loaded cyberspace. You guys are trying because in over 3 months, I haven't loaded my MTN. I hadn't had any use to load it. But when I was using my previous internet, it was almost like I was always loading my MTN because I needed it. Then for my phone, I use an MTN line. So I buy data, again, depending 6,000, 3,000. Most time, depending on how much time I spend outside. If I spend more time inside, then I don't use the data a lot because I'm using my Wi-Fi. So it's all doable, it's all workable. Before you set up your internet, please make sure that they come and check, because I once paid for an internet because it was working in my previous place, and I just assumed, oh, since it's Lekki, they're in the entire Lekki, and the people said I should pay that, of course it should be working. And then the engineer came and said, oh, you don't have any signal in your house. So that's it. Like, always make sure that they check, though they refunded me though, but yes, check that they're going to come and do like a speed test and show you, so you know if their internet. Don't just assume that because I'm in Ikoyi, because I'm in VI and Sarah is here as well. If Sarah is in VI, her own is working, that means because I'm in VI, it might be working. Even just across the street, their mask might not be getting there. So it's important that before you get any network to install, call them. Is what they do. It's part of their package. They will come and check it for you. But MTN typically The leading ones should be MTN and Glo. They typically work everywhere. And one last advice, excuse me, one last advice before I go is, before you rent a place in Nigeria, before you buy, please go with your mobile phone. I've told you guys, if you followed my channel, I've told you about the terrible experience I had. Imagine my MTN not working. I was literally losing my mind. For 2 years, I'll have to go outside to make calls. It was crazy. It was crazy. But so when I came to this house, the first thing I did was to check any house. Like, in fact, when I was buying, as I was going, part of my requirement was checking if I had network. That was part of my requirement. Part of my requirement was, is there network in this house? I wasn't going to do that again. But I went and it was 5G. And then that's how I went ahead with it. Anyways, I hope you did enjoy the video, and I hope I was able to break down how I cope in Nigeria with electricity and internet. Of course, I'm always here to answer your questions and make videos tailored, specific to your request. So if you have any request on real estate, Japada, moving to Nigeria, or just anything in between, please do well to comment, and I'll be sure to make that video happen. My name is Sarah Donald, and stay blessed.